if you walked into the new gen Seltos thinking they're going to redraw what your expectations are in terms of the features and the gimmicks and set a new standard, that's not the case.
Okay.
It is not the case.
Okay.
And the reason why is the other important thing that comes in here.
Okay.
The reason we all waited for the prices, and I guess they waited to reveal the prices, was they had some serious decisions to take.
Okay.
And we said that the Sierra's value was solid. Well, the Seltos simply now, and this is a broader statement, envelopes many other things, is the reference car in this segment.
Again.
It was the Creta up until now.
Okay.
Now it's the Seltos. So it says something about the machine, which we'll get into later. The value equation itself is so solid. Like, for instance, this car, despite being bigger, despite being better equipped, despite being a richer experience, more family friendly, and all of that, is just a little bit more expensive than the previous gen car. It undercuts the Sierra. The Sierra again has that situation where it'll offer you a little bit more in terms of equipment, but this car's cheaper, like 50, 60, a lakh 30.
Variant to variant.
Cheaper, yeah. So it's significantly cheaper. And the interesting point is, globally, the automotive market is going through a certain pressure, which is about affordability. And that's something that we are also seeing here in the Indian market. And we are seeing this. This is not the only instance. You will see more conversations that we have in the future when we have other MotorInc First. You're seeing that there's a pressure on prices. And so this isn't a last minute decision that Kia made to price this aggressively, because you can see it in the content of the car. And what we mean by that is the features, the equipment, the finishes, all of that, right? So there are certain decisions that they have taken to make sure that it lands up in this space. Was it as conscious as that? I don't know, but they had to make this work because they need to also grow. And in that, I think is the third overarching theme that I wanted to give. The Seltos has always been, they call it the badass, right? It's always been that slightly youthful or a young person's car. This time around, they're saying that they wanted it to be a more family-oriented car.
Okay.
Okay. And I find that very interesting because its looks were very clear-cut in my books. Its looks had a typical young flavor. And I think that change in itself in the design tells me that they're going slightly a Creta route.
Okay.
Now, the design is, you know how the Creta always, you kind of look at it and think, I'm not sure if I like it, but I remember it, right?
Yeah.
It's a strange thing about the Creta.
No. I think there was a Creta in there which I looked at and said, oh my God, what is this nonsense?
That's important. So yeah, so people have done that to the new Seltos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People look at like, what have they done with the Seltos, right? Because the design earlier was sleek, sharp, and all of that.
Yeah.
And now it's like, the best I can think about it is that, you know, the Jeep Renegade with those, it had that boxy look with those round headlamps and all. This kind of reminds me of that, but a bigger version of that, right? So it's somewhere there. So it's a big shift from what it was. All I'm going to say about the design is that two things that I have to say. It's made you sit up and take notice. That's half the job done. It's not put you off enough to say, I'm never going to buy that, which means it's winning. You will eventually get around to saying that, yeah, actually, it looks nice. You know, it'll get you there. I've also moved in that direction, saying that, interesting. And I'll tell you why as well. Because when I started looking at the variants prior to this conversation, because now we haven't driven, of course, the low variants. We've only driven the top spec GT line variants. And those get those new headlamps. Have you seen the car at all? Okay, so this is the really cool thing. And what I enjoy about Kia in some ways is how they'll give you the middle finger salute by giving you a 3-finger salute. Okay, so you know, in the Sierra, we had said they have those new headlamps which are ultra slim. They're like, that's technology enabling new kinds of designs, right? So instead of taking the packaging of those headlamps and making it into ultra slim, you know what they've done? They've created the shape of a regular headlamp, which will be like a circle or square or whatever, right? By splitting up that into 2 elements.
Okay.
And putting the DRLs in between. So you think of it as the eye. The top lid is the is let's say the high beam or low beam, and this is the high beam, right? And in between are the DRLs.
Okay.
So it's a very weird thing. When you look at it, it just feels strange because it's not like one smooth shape. It's all these lines and all. So this is the thing that I enjoy about Kia, how they end up taking ideas and kind of twisting them, which they've done here. So, and that's primarily the most polarizing aspect of this car.
Okay.
The face, because the grille is again that very toothy and open kind of grille. The headlamp is this thing. But the interesting thing is, when I started looking at the variants, which is why I brought it up, and I realized that it's only available in the top two variants, which is the GT line and the X line. And I suddenly realized that, so the lower variants won't look like this. Then I realized, it's already gotten to me a little bit, right? So, so that was the interesting thing about that design. And in the overall size of the car, and why this being only 30,000 rupees more than the old Seltos, again, will feel like okay, that's incredible. Aside from the content, is that this is physically a bigger car.
Okay.
It's longer by whatever, I think almost 100 mm, 10 centimeters. Wheelbase is 8 centimeters longer. The one thing that you will distinctly also feel is with these dimensions changing, it's become wider. It's actually become a little shorter in height.
Okay.
So it feels a little stretched. Not as much like how, if you kind of scale it down a little bit, you'll think of it like how the Grand Vitara feels like an elongated car.
Yeah.
But it's not to that extent. From the sides, I think it looks great. It's got some of those clean lines and crispness to it, which is good. The rear is going to feel familiar, maybe a bit boring to people because we've seen that tail lamp design. We've seen it on the Karens, seen it on the Carnival. But I think overall, it's a smart looking car. Maybe a bit polarizing today, but it's a step forward. And I think it shows it immediately. Like this is something that you'll always feel when a new generation car comes and you look at the previous gen, you think, that looks old. It's happened.
Okay.
So in its own way, that design has worked. In its own way, that price, this size, what they managed to deliver for that is super interesting.
How new is the new Kia Seltos? The YouTube version of the full story of that clip that you just saw is almost an hour long. The one on the app where we have questions from people, that's nearly 2 hours long, and we didn't repeat ourselves at all. It's that new. If you'd like to find out more, do check out that episode. It's on the app, always free to watch. The app itself, of course, is free to download. Look for MotorInc on the app stores.